You can be becoming a version of yourself that you know is gonna get things done, that you know is gonna stand up for herself, that you know is gonna be the best version of herself, while also grieving a past you, while also grieving a you that is no longer serving you, while also grieving relationships that no longer serving you, while also grieving decisions that you didn't want to make but you knew you had to. Welcome back to another episode of A Black Girl's Orbit. I'm your host, Zara. I hope you're doing well. When I tell you, I feel like everything just hit me all at once. Like when you're stressed, obviously your immune system is lower, right? Your body is trying to deal with the stress, and so you're more prone to being ill, you're more prone to getting sick, and you're more prone to, for me, my eczema flared up, and then hay fever started, and it was just like all of these things all at once. One night I was itching, woke up, body was reacting to the eczema, and then one night I woke up, my eyes were itching, and I was like, oh, this is nice. Achoo, nice to see you, spring. Hay fever has started. And I only get hay fever when I'm stressed. Like I only get the symptoms of hay fever when my body and my immune system is low. If my immune system isn't low, I don't get hay fever. And so when people ask me, oh, do you have hay fever? Sometimes. Last year, didn't get any hay fever. I guess I wasn't stressed around this time last year. Now, hay fever in full effect, but it's okay. We had a bit of April showers, and so the hay fever has, backed off a little bit, and so I'm very happy about that. Very happy about that, because obviously can't film a podcast episode when my eyes are huge and massive, itchy and swollen. So that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been at. So if you have hay fever, here for you. We're locked in. But yeah, grieving. I feel like I have been in this journey of becoming a better version of myself, of healing, of improving, of stepping into this new version of Zara, who is building a podcast empire, who is, being a content creator on social media, who is being a good and intentional mother to her son. I feel like I was also grieving what I thought that life would look like, or what I thought was a possibility. I don't really understand what I thought this would look like. No, I feel like I'm living in, that's exactly what it is. I feel like I'm living in exactly where I'm at right now. And I feel like I'm being present. Like I feel like I'm understanding that I'm going to do the work. I'm putting in the work. I'm in the place where I currently understand that I'm putting in the work to become the version of myself that I see, right? And I think in that process, a lot of things have been needed to let go of. A lot of things have been needed to release. A lot of things have been needed to declutter. A lot of things have needed me to come to an understanding, set boundaries, have a firm sense of self and a sense of what I will and not stand for. And in that process, the version of me who people pleased, the version of me who allowed anything to happen to her, the version of me who allowed the world to happen to me and for me and not me happening in the world, like me being me and deciding who it is that I want to be and deciding the work that is I was want to put in. I was in a place where things were happening to me. Life was happening to me and I was a reaction to life, right? And I feel like I'm grieving her. I feel like I'm grieving the old version of me and the ideas that she had, right? Like the idea that like I would just sit here and things would come to me. No, babe. No. You have to put in the work. You have to actually do things in order for things to come to you. And now that I'm at the place where I understand and I'm becoming the person who does the things, the version of me who just sat there and wished on a star, I feel like she was so naive, and I feel like I'm grieving her. I feel like I was grieving the life that she thought she would have had at this point, or the life that she thought she was working towards, even though she wasn't barely doing any work. And I feel like that can come across confusing. But yeah, let me give this analogy. Say you're in a relationship and you're like, I see that we're going to be married in 5 years from now. And then you're doing all the things that you think are going to get you to the place where you're married in 5 years from now, right? And then a breakup happens and it's like, oh, that's not this. Like, that's not what I thought was going to happen. And because it's not what you thought was going to happen, you kind of go through a process of not only grieving the relationship, because, you know, you might be heartbroken, things may have happened, whatever, but you grieve a relationship, but you also grieve who you thought you would become. You're grieving that version of you who you thought was going to be married in 5 years, right? That's what I mean. I feel like I'm going through the process of like the version of me that I had seen before is not now who I'm working towards. And don't get it twisted. Granted, this version is better. This Zara is better. She will be better. She is better. She has a new perspective on life. She is a new person. She, you know, has a baby. Like, this is not who I thought I was going to be 5 years ago, because I didn't know my son was coming, but he's here and he has made me see life in a completely different way. He's also made me make decisions and stand on business in a way that I probably wouldn't have before I had him. He has made me see that you can restart and things will be okay. There can be a birth and life comes after it, right? Life gets better if you want it to get better, and you have to want it to get better. But it just may not look like what you thought it would look like. And I had to understand that, right? And I feel like I was grieving that in the process of also at the same time having that conscious decision that this is the journey that I'm on, right? That I am becoming that person, that I am the person who has a podcast. I am the person who is building a Black-led female podcast. I am the person who is creating her content creation journey and, you know, is gonna do that and is still being a good mom and is still showing up for her son, or still being the best mom I can be, because things are gonna go wrong regardless, okay? But you you try and make up for your mistakes along the way. You try the best that you can. You do all that you can to learn the knowledge and implement those things that you have learned, right? I feel like in that process, two things can be true at the same time. You can be becoming a version of yourself that you know is gonna get things done, that you know is gonna stand up for herself, that you know is gonna be the best version of herself, while also grieving a past you, right? While also grieving a you that is no longer serving you, while also grieving relationships that no longer serving you, while also grieving decisions that you didn't want to make but you knew you had to. And I feel like there have been a lot of decisions that I knew I had to make and didn't want to, but knew I had to make them and knew I would be better off for making those decisions, but they hurt. It doesn't mean I wanted to do it, right? And I was having a conversation with my mum yesterday and I was like, there's an opportunity that I called in, that I wanted, that I asked for. And now that I've gotten the opportunity, I don't know if I'm supposed to take it. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for it. And my mom was like, yeah, but you're never going to be ready for anything when it comes to motherhood. Like, you're never going to be ready to leave a child ever. Like, you're just never, right? You either make the decision or you don't. And you deal with whatever comes after it, right? And that's literally how motherhood has been for me. There was things that I was going through when I was pregnant, and I knew that to put me and my son in the place that was best for us, to get us to a place that I knew I could raise him and be comfortable and happy, I knew I had to move out. I didn't want to move out. Like, if we're being really completely honest, I don't think internally I had come to the space. I don't think my body had come to the space. I think I was still in those limiting beliefs and that version of myself who knew she had to remove herself from her family and from that environment, but also was in this toxicity loop, right? And this is the thing, that type of and this is what I, healing, learning, therapy, all of these things. Dopamine is expressed in a many of different ways, and you can be addicted to a many of different things. You can be addicted to anxiety. You can be addicted to the spike in anger. You can be addicted to the feeling of sadness, right? Like, you can be addicted to a constant cycle that's negative. We just say like, okay, addicted to substances. Like, yes, you can be addicted to substances. We understand you can be addicted to substances, but you can also be addicted to a toxic relationship. Like that peak in, oh, we're about to have an argument, and then the downfall of that peak in, oh, that person's mad at me, and then the downfall of that. And I was in an environment where I was, probably like, just my body had come accustomed to the cycle that I was in with my parents, and the cycle that I was in with my family members, and the cycle that I was in with the people pleasing, where it was like, I hate it, I don't want to do it, I'll complain about it, I know I shouldn't be here, I know I need to get out of this loop, but I was so used to doing it. I was telling myself the same things every day. I was feeding myself the same limiting beliefs over and over and over again. And while I wanted to move, it was like, well, how are we going to do it? We don't have all the things that we need, or we're going to leave. I have a sister who's 12 years younger than me. You're going to leave your sister, and how are you going to do that? And do you really want to leave your sister? And what does that mean, leaving your sister? And all of these things that put me in a place where it was like, I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should. I don't know if it's the right time. I don't know. And I knew. You're telling yourself, right? Like, we get to that point where we know we need to evolve. We know we need to run. We know we need to get away. We know we need to make the decision. We know we need to leave. We know we need to release. And we won't, because we're comfortable, because it's easier in our brains to deal with what we know, the cycle that we know, than the anticipation of something that we don't know, right? We always want to be in the known. Our immune systems enjoy being in the known, even if it's bad for our immune system, even if it's bad for our emotions, even if it's bad for our internal. We prefer to know what's happening. We want to know what's happening. And especially me, the control freak, who people pleased on the basis of, I know I need to know what's happening. I need to know that if I do this thing for you, that you're going to act like that. Or I need to know that if we have an argument, it's going to be a come down. There's going to be a spike. There's going to be a this. You're going to shout. Okay, cool. I get it. But that fear of like, if I move out, and then what happens then? Am I going to be okay? What happens then? That not knowing was worse for me than continuing to be in that situation that was bad. That I knew I needed to leave. And so sometimes it takes big life things for you to make the decision that you need to make, right? I got pregnant and some stuff happened, and it was like, okay, bet, I'm finna go. Like, if we don't go now, we never will. And if we don't make the decision that my son's life is worth better, he deserves more than this. And at the time I didn't know he was going to be a boy, but regardless, it was like, I now have someone else that needs me to make this decision. I now have someone else that needs me to buck up and go and deal with the unknown, because the unknown is better than this known reality that we're living in. And so I had to make that decision, went and did it, moved out, was scared, but did that. And in that process, I think since then I had just been in the cycle of like, oh, okay, we did it, we're moving, right? Like, house is here, okay, cool, furnish the house, okay, baby is born, okay, cool, have the baby, be the babies, to help the baby survive. That's what I was doing, right? I had the baby and we're surviving, right? I'm getting through the newborn stage and I'm trying to figure all of this out. And My hormones are raging. I don't know what's going on. I'm just taking every day as I can. And then you get to a point where you're faced with that decision again. Am I going to make the decision to go and fear the unknown and have hope that everything is going to be better if I make it better, or continue to live in this cycle? And that's what I was going through again. And I feel like in the process of making that decision again, in the process of coming to terms with the fact that it may never look like what you thought it would, right? When I was going through it, when I moved out, it was like, okay, we may never get, at that time, I was under the impression of like, I may never get the relationship with my parents that I wanted. I may never get it. It may never be a reality. But what is a reality is that we need to move and we need to continue living our lives, and we still need to become the version of ourselves that we want to, regardless of what the relationship with our parents looks like. And that's what I was grieving at that time. I didn't know it because I was in survival, but I kept saying like, so it's like I kept saying in therapy, like, okay, it's a possibility that I may not ever get the relationship with my parents that I wanted, and then how am I going to deal with that and my son, my baby, because I didn't know he was going to be my son, but is he just not going to have his grandparents in his life, and what does that look like, and how do I feel about that? Constantly still trying to control the situation, right? But I had come to terms that I would rather deal with the unknown. I would rather deal with, maybe I'm not going to have my parents in my life. Maybe we're never going to get to a place where I have a positive relationship with my parents. Maybe my baby is not going to have these grandparents in his life, and that's just going to be it in their life, and that's just going to be it. But fearing the unknown and grieving that that's the relationship that I wanted, right? Because there's a little version of me, the inner child of me, who wants to have a great relationship with her parents and wants to just have, at that time, I wanted to do nothing than be like, I'm pregnant. Oh, my parents are here to help me and take care of me and do everything that I need. And I wasn't experiencing that at that moment. And so I was grieving the fact that I wasn't going to get that. Like, I was grieving the fact that that's not the reality that we currently live in. So deal with where you're at right now. Right. And I feel like I tend to do that. Like, I tend to be like, but why couldn't it just be like this? Like, why couldn't it just be like that? Why couldn't I just have had, and we all do it, right? It's like, why couldn't it have just been easy? Why couldn't I just have had this perfect thing? And it's like, that's not your reality. That's not the reality. The reality is where you are in this present moment. Either deal with where you are in this present moment, or constantly think about what could have been. No. And for me, it felt like grieving what could have been. I felt like I was grieving the relationship that I could have had with my parents. And at this time, when this decision came again, it reminded me of that. Now, I have hindsight now to look back and be like, that's not at all. Some things just happen for a season. I am in a place now where I can have that relationship with my parents. It's not perfect, but like, I didn't have to cut them off. I didn't have to block and delete them. Like, that's not where we're at. So there is possibility. And when you go into the unknown, you have to allow that space for possibility. There is possibility that everything will go just as you want it to, and there is possibility that everything will go better than you think it is, and there is possibility that you're going to have opportunities that you didn't even dream of that are going to come into fruition, right? There are opportunities now that may come in that you didn't even think you deserved, but because you have gotten yourself to the place of living in that unknown, of allowing yourself to be in the unknown, you're drawing in so much more, so much abundance. Instead of holding on to what you know, instead of holding on to something that you know you need to let go of, something that you know you need to remove, a decision that you know you need to make, right? And I just filmed a TikTok about how when you make the decision you know you need to make, it's almost like a floodgates open, right? I was having this analogy, and I genuinely, sometimes I be getting these downloads, right? Like, if we're being real honest, I'm a spiritual girly. I don't know if I've explained on here that I'm a spiritual girly, but I'm a spiritual girly. Sometimes I be getting downloads, but I was constantly being told, like, the floodgates will open, the floodgates will open, the floodgates are opening. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? It's like a dam. right? Like a dam. When you remove one log, the flood, like it literally, it feels like the dam is being held by this one log. And when you let go of this one log, when you release this one log, the ocean just like floods, right? And I was saying that when you make the decision in the TikTok, I was saying if you make the decision that you know you need to make, there's a decision that you know you need to make. And for me, it was a decision I know I needed to make. There was a release that you know you needed to do. There was a thing that you know you needed to let go of. There was something that is no longer serving you, is in this current moment no longer serving you, and you are still holding on to it. And by you holding on to it, you are the thing that's blocking the dam. You have to allow yourself to release it. And when you do, the floodgates will open. And I said in the TikTok, by floodgates, I was hearing like the blessings will come, the things will come, the opportunities will come. Allowing yourself to be in the unknown allows for things to come, allows for possibility. The realm of possibility only comes when you are in the unknown. There's no room for possibility. There's no room for it when you're in a constant cycle of known. We can get in this constant cycle of known life where you can know everything that you think is going to happen. I know how my day is going to go. I know what thing that I'm doing today. I know where I'm going today. I know I'm going to have this argument with this person. I know I'm going to be walking on eggshells. I know I'm going to have to people please. I know I'm going to have to, show up for this person in this way. And I know that, this person's going to do this thing. And I know that there's a possibility that they're going to act like that. And by living in that constantly, the same thing over and over, there's no room for new. There's no room for you to meet new people, for you to have new experiences. There's no possibilities. There's no opportunity. There's nothing new because you want to know everything. You are allowing yourself to stay in this constant, I know this is going to happen. I know this is going to happen. I want to control every single situation. And so even when there's possibilities, like you could leave the house tomorrow and have an opportunity that is the opportunity of your dreams, but not based on who you know yourself to be at this current moment. No, based on the possibility of the unknown. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm at the place where I know I have to go back to that. As soon as I made that decision when I was pregnant to move, I didn't know how I was going to move. I didn't know how he was going to move out. I didn't have not a Scooby-Doo of where we was going to live, where me and my son were going to live. Had no clue, but I knew, I had a sense of trust that I was going to make it happen. It was going to happen. Spirit was good. Things were going to shake, right? The earth was going to quake. And somehow, in some way, we was going to end up in a place where we're okay, we're safe, we have security. And that's exactly what happened. Went out on a whim, made the decision I knew I should have made, went into the unknown and was immediately rewarded by it. Got this place where we live at this current moment. I'm on the sofa of said house and had my son. And not to say that there weren't still obstacles and there weren't still things that I needed to overcome and there weren't still limiting beliefs that I was dealing with. Like, no, things aren't going to be perfect straight away. In general, things aren't going to be perfect. But that sense of I'm going into the unknown with a sense of trust that it's just going to work out. It has to work out. I did that. And I was rewarded for it. And now I'm at this place again where I feel like I'm doing that again. And I'm now faced with that version of me who is a control freak again. And that version of me who is a control freak is grieving. She's grieving hard. Like it was a hard couple of weeks there where it was just like crying, tears, emotions, anger, sadness, just deep weeping because a life that I had made in my brain now couldn't be a possibility anymore. The thing that I thought was gonna work out and pan out in a certain way isn't how it is or can pan out at this current moment in time. And not to say that it still couldn't go exactly the way that I thought it was. at this current moment in my reality right now, where we are right now, it's not going the way that I wanted it to. It's not going the way that I thought it would. And I'm grieving that. But it's also like, you know, the version of me that I know I'm becoming is like, Zara, you can't control anything. Like, you can have an intention, you can have an energy, you can have a way that you want things to go, but you cannot control it. You can only decide who you are going to be, right? And I had to stop letting life live me. I'm now living in life. And by living in life, I have to be present here, not in the clouds of like, well, you know, in my perfect reality and perfect place and a perfect time, this is how I thought things would go. Yes, I can still have a vision for my life and a type of way that I want life to go. But in my opinion, I'm coming to the place where I don't have a vision for life. I have a vision for me. I don't have a vision for... I've stopped deciding exactly what I think should happen day to day, year to year, month to month, and more who I'm going to be. I'm going to make myself this version of me. I'm going to get my mindset to this place. I'm going to get my thought process to this thing. I'm going to up level myself in this way. I'm going to work hard for these goals and these dreams. And those things will come when they are supposed to, right? The rewards will come when they are supposed to. The direction that these decisions may take me in may not even be the direction that I think they're going to take me in, but that's just part of it, right? And trust and know within myself that vision for what spirit has for me is way better than anything that I could be imagining right now. And I think coming to that understanding that divine timing, a divine place, divine life for me is better than what I can ever decide and create and imagine in my brain, from that ego standpoint, from that limiting belief standpoint, not from the standpoint of like possibility, right? Because I was having a vision for myself. Like, let's be clear, right? No one is telling you that you can't have a vision for your future. No one is telling you that, but have that vision for your future from a place of abundance and flexibility. I was having a vision for my life based on limiting beliefs, what I thought I could do, who I thought I was supposed to be, this people-pleasing version of myself. And it's like, I'm not her anymore. And so because I'm not her anymore, we have to have a new vision for who we are and what we want and who we want to become. And so therefore, all these visions that we had for our life at this current moment is attached to that version of me. It's not attached to this version of me. This version of me is in the unknown. This version of me is becoming every single day. This version of me is working towards new amazing things that probably previous version of me didn't even think was a possibility. And so I cannot hold on to what she thought her life would look like because I'm not her anymore, right? And I feel like that's what I was grieving. I was grieving her and what she thought her life would look like. And that's not where we're at. I'm now this version of me. I'm becoming this version of me who is in a world of possibility, right? In a world of unknown, in a world of synchronicities and, you know, spiritual alignment and all of these things, all of these buzzwords. But that's better. That's better. She's a better version. She is a version of herself who stands in her power. She knows her power. She's understanding her power. She's understanding who she is. She's understanding all the things that she could get if she just put her mind to it. And I know from a soul perspective, I know this version of me is better. And now, but 2 weeks ago, I was weeping for that old version. I was grieving her. I was like, oh my gosh, poor you. Like, poor me, you know, poor old me who thought that this is what it would look like, and how could she just not see the signs, and how didn't she know, and how did we get wrapped up in this vision of what we thought, and, you know, why was she not living in reality? She was, but just with the perspective that she had then. And so from this perspective of who we are and what we have now, that's not going to be the future anymore, right? And yeah, it's hard. It's not easy, but also you have to give yourself grace in that. Like I felt like I had to grieve her, accept her, understand her, um allow her to go through her process, allow her. And I'm saying her because I feel like that version of me and this version of me, two different people. Like I said in the last episode, I feel like I'm becoming a Zara that I don't know. Like I feel like when I wake up and it's like, oh, she's doing it, oh okay, cool, we're going, okay, cool, we're going, okay, we're okay, she's gone. Like that's how I feel, right? And so in this version of me, I had to hold space for her and allow her to go through her process, allow her to grieve, allow her to be heartbroken, allow her to be emotional, to get angry, to literally go through the stages of grieving, like the denial. Like it was genuinely like a full grief, like a grief. The denial, the anger, the sadness, the pain, all like I genuinely felt like that's what I was going through. And there's this timeline that I had built, this life that I had built that's not my reality. And it died. Like it died. It's dead. And so I was grieving it. I was grieving it. And me now is like, babe, it's not that deep. Like it's not that deep, and there is going to be so much more, and the floodgates are going to open. The unknown is like floodgates opening, and I know that because I have done it before. I literally did it when I was pregnant. I've done it before, gone into the unknown and been rewarded for it. So I know it's going to happen this time. I have a trust that it will happen this time. But because I don't know how, and because I don't know in what way, and because it's not in the way that I thought I wanted at that time, and because there's so many possibilities and so many if buts, and it's unknown, I was scared, didn't want to do it. Holding on to this old version of me, holding on to this old life, holding on to this, not even old life that doesn't exist, and yeah, so that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Give mama 1 minute. My son is awake from his nap and now he's crying because he's seen me. So yeah, there's nothing else that needs to be said. That's where I'm at. I'm starting to feel like these podcast episodes are like journal entries, diary type situations, and I'm actually really quite enjoying it. It's quite nice. It's quite nice just to release off the dome. But that's where I'm at. And so if you're at a place where there's a decision that you need to make, there's a thing that you need to do, there's a situation that you know the answer to that you're trying not to make, it's time. If you're seeing this, it's time, because on the other side is better. So much more than you could ever imagine. But yeah, my son is demanding me, so I'm gonna go. But I hope you enjoyed your experience within a Black Girl's Orbit. I hope to see you back here next week. I hope hay fever doesn't hit me like a truck again, and so I can film again and my eyes won't be puffy. But yeah, I love you all. Bye 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 bye.